This is Electric Universe Eyes, and today I'm going to narrate The Great Comet Venus by David Talbott, 1997, section titled Velikovskian Research in Catastrophism. How can it be that two researchers approaching the same field of data can draw such incompatible conclusions? The heart of the issue, I suggest, has to do with one's approach to the subject matter. In penetrating to the core of ancient celestial imagery, methodology is everything. The gap separating the mainstream sciences and social sciences from Velikovski's revolutionary approach to myth needs to be appreciated. The Velikovskian investigator has discovered that few, if any, of the primary themes of myth answer to our familiar sky. Hence, to focus on recurring themes is to focus on the recurring anomalies of myth. But rather than confront the issue of recurring anomalies, Forrest descends into a swamp of marginal details, picking at virtually every paragraph of Worlds in Collision while rigorously avoiding cross-referencing. As a result, the author consistently fails to see past the veil in which modern perception has wrapped ancient myth. It is as if general patterns and connections are of no interest. In every case of an anomaly noted by Velikovsky, Forrest's answer is simply to cite someone else's guess at an explanation. And I do mean guess, though many of the cited authorities offered their guesses prior to Velikovsky's novel interpretation, and few, if any, of these authorities seem aware of the larger patterns detected by Velikovsky. In this way, Forrest reverses Velikovsky's approach, for Velikovsky connected anomalous Venus images of one land with corresponding anomalies from other parts of the world. Recurring anomalies, as correctly perceived by Velikovsky, are a key to discovery. A useful example of the methodological issue is the recurring world catastrophe myth. For the Velikovskian researcher, the question is whether globally experienced events will account for the repeated theme of the world-destroying cataclysm, or must all such themes be explained by wholly separate localized disasters? If one resorts to the latter explanation, then no underlying integrity of catastrophe myths is even possible in significant detail. But the inescapable counterpart of this observation is that if the myths of widespread cultures present the same improbable story in significant detail, then it is the localized explanation that becomes impossible. A reasonable methodology cannot ignore the convergence of recurring themes on an underlying idea, even if that idea stands outside modern theoretical frameworks. In recognition of this principle, I have chosen in this series of articles to draw periodically upon Bob Forrest's critique as a means of clarifying the methodological issues. I trust the reader will take this use of Forrest's work in a constructive spirit and find in our approach no attempt to discredit the researcher himself, since Forrest is, after all, the best of Velikovsky's critics and deserves much credit for having raised questions no Velikovskian researcher can afford to ignore.